and they are now having direct contacts on both player and club side. So Liverpool and Arsenal are both into the race. Hey guys, Fabrizio Romano here, as always, to keep you posted on the transfer market. And today, guys, we touch on Caicedo, Romeo Lavia, two important stories about midfielders who are going to be on the market in this crazy month of July, but also for Chelsea. It's not over at all, guys. 10 more outgoings expected. Let's jump into it together. And so, guys, let me start today's video by mentioning players who could be really crucial in really crucial moments and really crucial days in the next week or weeks. But July is going to be a crucial month for Romeo Lavia and Caicedo. For Romeo Lavia, guys, it's important to mention that, yes, Chelsea and Man United are still keeping an eye on the situation. We know that the director of Manchester United, head of recruitment, Joe Shields, had Romeo Lavia at Manchester City and then at Southampton. So he almost creating Romeo Lavia as a player, but it's also the reality that now Chelsea are focusing on Caicedo, and we will speak about that in a minute. But on Romeo Lavia, what I told you last week, it was days ago, at the beginning of the week, and was about the situation of Liverpool, because Arsenal are there. Arsenal are still interested in Romeo Lavia, but they are now 100% focused on closing this deal for Declan Rice and then Jurriën Timber. But Romeo Lavia remains one of the targets in case both Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey leave the club. So it probably takes some time before Arsenal can enter the race with a concrete bid. At the moment there is interest and contacts, but still not a bid. Liverpool are now into the race, and as I already mentioned days ago, they are into this. They are working on Romeo Lavia, and they are now having direct contacts on both player and club side. So Liverpool and Arsenal are both into the race for Romeo Lavia, are the two clubs who are pushing in this moment. And it's crucial to say that for Liverpool, despite signing Alexis McAllister and Dominic Szoboszlai, there is still the desire to bring in new players. Could be a defensive midfielder like Romeo Lavia. Keep an eye, as I said many times, on new centre back, because this is something that they want to try to do this summer. But Romeo Lavia is a target now for Liverpool. Of course, this will also depend on the fee. At the moment, Southampton are demanding around £50 million, and this is a lot of money. This is why Liverpool and Arsenal are still waiting to make an official bid, but Liverpool are there. So keep an eye on Lavia, because Liverpool are working on this one. Arsenal are waiting to understand what happens with Thomas and with Granit Xhaka, waiting to see if Chelsea and Man United will really join the race or just exploring this possibility, but nothing else, as they are doing right now. So Lavia is going to be one to watch. Caicedo, for sure, because I told you guys that Chelsea and Brighton were prepared to open direct negotiation, and this is the case. So I can confirm that Chelsea and Brighton are speaking about Caicedo. There is direct contact, as I already explained a few days ago in a video. This is not an old style negotiation, like I sent a bid, submitted, waiting for an answer. This is a bit different. So Chelsea are having direct contact with Brighton, trying to find a way together, common ground, to make it happen. Also because the player is very clear in his communication to Brighton. Roberto De Zerbi told him in February that is possible for him to go in case they receive a proposal. So there is almost a green light from Brighton to let him go, but they also want the right proposal. So now the conversation Brighton-Chelsea is ongoing, and next week is going to be an important moment for Caicedo deal, because there will be new contacts between Chelsea and Brighton. Chelsea will really go strong on this one, so they don't want to have a really long negotiation. We never know with Brighton, they're really tough in negotiations, but Chelsea will try to make something important immediately, to try to have also short negotiation and to give Mauricio Pochettino the midfielder he needs. So Caicedo and Chelsea advancing. Let me remind, guys, that on personal terms there are no issue. The player already said yes to Chelsea, and Chelsea feeling complete control. So as I always told you, Man United never entered the race for Caicedo. They wanted Mount, and they will have Mount. Arsenal were only focused on Declan Rice, and this is still the case. Arsenal never made any bid this summer for Caicedo. It was in January. So this is the situation. Then, guys, on Chelsea, I wanted to mention something, because we know, and we are all commenting how Chelsea did many things in terms of outgoing. So many players leaving, from Mendy and Koulibaly to Saudi, Loftus-Cheek to AC Milan, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, Mateo Kovacic. Many players leaving the club, but this is not completed yet, because, guys, I have a list here with me with many players who will also leave Chelsea in July, or this is the plan, or this is a concrete possibility. The first one is going to be Cesar Azpilicueta, who's going to sign as new Atletico Madrid player next week. There is an agreement on a 2-year contract, and Chelsea will let him go as a free agent. Azpilicueta agreed personal terms with Inter on a verbal basis. Then Atletico entered the race, and at that moment, Azpilicueta decided to go to Spain, also due to family reasons. So Azpilicueta to Atletico, he's leaving Chelsea. Then Ethan Ampadu, who is back from Spezia loan. Chelsea are looking for solutions for him, but Ampadu is prepared to leave Chelsea in the next weeks, and Chelsea are trying to find the best solution because they still believe that he's an important player for the future in terms of potential, but they also know that he can't stay at the moment into the squad. Then we have to keep an eye on the situation of Trevoh Chalobah, because Chalobah is into Chelsea project, so he's not out of the project, but they're waiting to understand if a proposal arrives, because also on player side, from what I understand, they are open to discussing with some clubs in case they find an opportunity, because Chalobah wants to play. Chalobah doesn't want to be on the bench, and this is also important, looking for the Euros next summer. So keep an eye also on Chalobah's situation. Many talks about Inter, but now Inter priority is Merih Demiral from Atalanta. Chalobah has always been appreciated. Let's see if they will try to enter the race also for Chalobah. But mentioning Inter and Chelsea, there will be new contacts next week for Romelu Lukaku. Lukaku priority remains Inter. He wants to go back to Inter, but Inter have to offer what Chelsea want. So there will be a discussion of a loan deal with a buy option clause, could be mandatory, but Inter want to pay that money, around 30 million euros, in many years and not just in 1 or 2 solutions. So let's see how this conversation will go, but this deal is still slow at this point between Inter and Chelsea. For Romelu Lukaku, but it remains the priority of the player to wait for Inter, of course. Then he can't wait forever, and it's the same for Chelsea. Then Baba and Sarr are both players that Chelsea are set to sell or offload this summer, because the idea of the club is to find a permanent solution for both players. So Baba and Sarr will be on the market. Same for Pierre Aubameyang. He had some conversation with Saudi clubs, but at the moment still nothing advanced. Aubameyang is taking his time to make a final decision in the next days or weeks, but for Chelsea, is very clear. Aubameyang is a player who is considered out of the project, and they are looking for a solution for him. Also for Hakim Ziyech, he had an agreement done with Al Nassr. Then we know that there were some problems in terms of medical tests. There will be new checks, so this is not 100% off yet, but is in real danger. So we can say that this deal is not guaranteed at all, as it was a few days ago. And so for Hakim Ziyech, Chelsea will try to find different solutions, still waiting and still hoping for Al Nassr to make it happen, maybe changing something or making new tests in the next days. Then Christian Pulisic. Christian Pulisic could be the next one to leave the club. Next week, Chelsea will speak again to Milan. Pulisic said yes to Milan. He has an agreement on personal terms. So between Milan and Pulisic, everything is ready. He would love an experience in Italy, but now it's important to understand if Milan will offer what Chelsea want, around 30 million. Milan wanted to spend half of this, around 15, 18. So let's see if they can find common ground in negotiations in the next days. And then, guys, let me mention also Hudson-Odoi, because for Hudson-Odoi there is something in Saudi, but player priority is still to stay in Europe, and so there will be conversations with European clubs, but Hudson-Odoi could be one more player set to leave Chelsea this summer, and then many others on loan. We know the situation of Datro Fofana, who's in the list at Strasbourg, but also other clubs are interested. The situation of Casadei, who wants to stay in the Premier League or at least in the Serie A and not going to Championship clubs, but Champions League clubs are going to insist until the end of the market. So many decisions to make, but for sure, for Chelsea, this big outgoings process is still ongoing. And so, guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories. Romeo Lavia, Moises Caicedo, Chelsea outgoings. I wait for your comments, guys. Here, as always, remember to like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. See you soon with Fabrizio. Ciao.